Shalom everyone, Daniel Luria, Yerushalayim, Ir HaKodesh, Ateret Kohanim. We've just started the month of Kislev, the month of the festival of Yerushalayim, of Chanukah, the lights, returning to Yerushalayim, the Maccabim, the Chashmonaim, Matityahu HaKohen. We have our own Matityahu HaKohen that's involved in bringing Jewish life back to Yerushalayim. We may not have the Greek Empire that we have to get rid of, but there's still a number of big issues that we're dealing with all the time. But the reason for this short audio message to everyone on Erev Shabbos is the fact that we're coming up very shortly. If Rosh Chodesh was on Friday, that means that Shabbos is Bet, Monday is Gimel, and Tuesday, Monday night, Tuesday is Daled Kislev. Daled Kislev, for those who don't know, is a very, very special day. There are very few dates, if any, in the Tanakh where it tells that we're told of a specific day that there were prophecies given. What makes this day even more special is the prophecies had actually stopped. And it was only in the 4th year of King Darius. For those of you who don't remember, King Darius, according to most opinions, was the son of Esther, Chashvarosh. He ended up being the king, the young king of Persia, who allowed the rebuilding of Yerushalayim and the building the Beit HaMikdash that happened in his reign. He says the famous decree that he warns the Jews of Persia, of Galut of that time. Woe betide anyone who doesn't help the builders, the diligent builders of Jerusalem with gold and marble and wheat and the king's goods and the resources. And whoever doesn't listen to this decree, may he be strung up from a beam in his house and his house become refuse. Unbelievable. The king of Persia telling the Jews who live overseas to help the diligent builders of Yerushalayim. You come to your own conclusion what that means even today. In any case, Zechariah, there's a Navi at the time, Zechariah, and he's told, and we're told specifically, if you look up Zechariah chapter 7, look it up, it's unbelievable. That's the only thing you remember from this talk. It's to go to Zechariah chapter 7 and have a look at the whole thing, because it's the 4th of Kislev, a great day for us even today. The Nevuah, the last Nevuah, because remember Nevuah stopped. The last prophecies were given to Zechariah. Of course, this whole story comes about all because of the people of Chutz La'aretz wanted to know, should they be fasting on Tisha B'Av? If the Beit HaMikdash is being rebuilt and Yerushalayim is being rebuilt and people are coming back to Israel, then why do we need to fast on Tisha B'Av? So there's a whole talk about yes, no, fasting on the minor fast on Tisha B'Av, etc. Of course, there were some things missing, as we know, from the second Beit HaMikdash. The Shekhinah wasn't there, there was no Aron, there wasn't proper sovereignty because, of course, Persia was in charge, there wasn't full ingathering of the exiles. The land wasn't as great, it was cursed, there was no respect for the nations of the world. I think there's meant to be 6 or 7 things that basically that weren't like the first one. The Kutim reigned in Eretz Yisrael at the time. There was no king from the Davidic dynasty. So there were some issues that weren't proper. It wasn't as great. And according to some opinions, maybe they still needed to fast. Very strange whole story in relation to this, the whole business of when the second Beit HaMikdash was actually built. I'm not going into that. But on the Daled of Kislev, Zechariah has all these nevuos, and he says, and they're discussing the whole thing of how is it possible that we should be fasting. What does fasting actually do? Fasting doesn't do anything. There's no point of the whole fasting if it's not going to make a change to the individual. If we are Rachum B'Chanun, then Hashem will be Rachum B'Chanun. So if we don't fast, Hashem's not going to fast. We don't need there's no issue of eating and drinking in the heavens. So it's not really relevant. And Hashem comes down in Nevuah and says, if there's no justice, if there's no chesed, if there's no tzedek, if there's no being right and truthful and no rachamim, then don't expect it from Hashem. It's not going to help with the fasting in either case. This is what needs to be done. And when that is done, and then comes the famous nevuah that all of you are familiar with, the nevuah that says the young will play in the streets of Jerusalem. The young and old, the old will walk around with their walking sticks and actually sit down. All of this will be and will happen when we do those few things of important things of chesed and tzedek and yosher and rachamim. When that all happens, and these great nevuot that the land will give of its fruits, that the people will come and live in Israel, that Israel will be, the Yerushalayim will be a city of truth once again. It will be full of Jewish life. There'll be shchunot. There'll be Jewish neighborhoods. There'll be neighborhoods and there'll be Shekhinah and God's presence is there. All this can happen if we do the right thing. So Daled Kislev This week, the week that's coming, this is the week that we have to do things of chesed, of tzedek, of tzedakah, of yosher, of rachamim. And at the same time, we can build Yerushalayim. We're making it happen. When we show a desire from Yerushalayim, that's when Hashem says, oh, they love Yerushalayim. They're acting with emet. They're acting with tzedek. They're acting with chesed. Then I will help and make sure that the young and old will walk in the streets of the Yerushalayim, will play in the streets of Yerushalayim. Now, we're halfway there, as many of you know, because some of you helped with rooftop playgrounds, etc. Our kids aren't playing in the streets yet. The young and old aren't walking in every alleyways. People ask me, is it safe to walk here and safe to walk there? We're not quite there. We've come a long way. We've got shchunot and shechina. We've got neighborhoods and the divine presence by having all our beautiful families in all these places. We can add more of that with your help. But the help has to be in two forms. Number one, once again, as says in Zechariah, if we act with chesed and yosher and tzedek and rachamim, so too will Hashem. And if He sees that we want to build Yerushalayim, then He will help and carry on. And we really will see the fulfillment of those prophecies, the true prophecies in Zechariah, that the kids will play in the streets of Yerushalayim and will have that beautiful time when it will just be shchuna and shechina. I wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom, and may it be a great Dalet Kislev for you guys and also for us. A reminder to everyone, we're still trying to restore and rebuild the original Yemenite Beit Knesset, the Lamb Yemenites Synagogue and Heritage Center. We've managed to get back a few more buildings that need to be renovated to add Jewish life and Jewish families that can be dedicated. There's plenty to be done for Yerushalayim, in Yerushalayim. Let's take this Dalet Kislev seriously, and I hope to hear from all of you. Kol Tufu.